two CTOs, similar experience level, entirely different internal clocks. One being 2 months into a gnarly domain in a new company is already making huge leaps when it comes to understanding the product, understanding the world they're operating in, the regulation and the customers, even though it's a financial area where he doesn't have experience, and making the commitment to himself to make a huge leap within the next month or two. Contrast that with another CTO, again, not a first-timer, who has been in a new company for over a year now, reporting to have very, very low understanding of the product and the business in general, and saying that he hopes to make some progress within the next 6 months or so. These are not made up examples. These are just two people I happened to talk to recently. And this gap is something that we see all over the place, because what matters here, what makes the difference, is not their talent, not their smarts. It is something about their tuning internally for like how fast is time actually ticking. This is the theory of relativity about you setting your goals on what's possible, how much time is required to make progress, and whether you're okay with another year going by, or do you have a higher bar where you expect to see results happen much faster. Your internal sense of urgency, your internal cadence of progress is something that for many leaders can be what's holding them from growth or the great enabler. And we have to understand that we have the capacity of controlling this and moving much faster once we take hold of this. This is not about hustle culture. It's not about burning the midnight oil. It's about setting your sights on a goal and directing your personal growth towards it, ensuring that you have a cadence that you're proud of. And this is something that can really launch a leadership career real fast if you know how to use it. The timeline that you use between you and yourself subconsciously rules how fast you can grow, because if you told yourself something is going to take a year, chances are it will not take anything less than that. So taking hold of that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video, which is about moving your internal sense of urgency and ensuring that you start learning much faster, because that will increase your speed of change and make you a leader that's ahead of the curve and ahead of your team, as opposed to being someone that's always drowning, always trying to keep back the overwhelm and struggling to remain above water surface. If you're new here, I'm Aviv Ben-Yosef. I'm a tech executive coach and consultant. I help people just like you create teams worth leading, because that's too sure to lead a mediocre team. And as always, a major part in ensuring that you have that sort of team boils down to ensuring that you are the right leader. And we have to learn how to grow and ensure that we are not holding the team back, that we are not constantly putting out fires, that we are able to be a bit more strategic and a bit more of an actual leader. And your ability to learn fast and be one step ahead will make all the difference in the world. Let's talk about 3 tools that I use with my clients in order to ensure that they grow faster, that they align their internal clock here in a way that actually makes them learn that much faster, and also not burn out. First, I repeat, we have a belief problem. If you believe something is going to take a long time, it will certainly take at least that amount of time. I've seen this repeatedly over and over again. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. People almost never at work finish things before the deadline they set between them and themselves. And therefore, it is crucial that you understand it and start noticing when this is happening, personally and with your team, actually. Whenever we allow ourselves to just take too much time, we will take all of that time and more. And that's why when I work with my clients, we very rarely work in time frames of more than 3 months. I'm going to touch on that in a second. And that's why I always say that the bandwidth of how much progress someone can make when working with a coach is usually the limit of what they tell themselves. Yeah, you might have a very crazy month if, I don't know, there's a big version coming out, you have to go to a conference, etc. But all in all, when we look at your average month, You are the limiting factor of how much progress you make. You have so much control, so much agency, so much freedom to decide how to shape your days, how to shape your progress, what your team is doing, that you can make huge leaps and make dramatic progress if you set your sights correctly. And this is what we're going to be doing right now. Number one, like I just mentioned, you want to work in 2 to 3 month timeframes. Nothing more than that. When people tell me they have a yearly goal and I see that that goal just remains a big yearly thing, I know they're probably going to get to the end of the year, and if they even remember to look at it again, they realize they didn't even make a lot of progress. Why? Because just like when an engineer tells you that a feature is going to take 4 or 5, 6 weeks, you know that figure usually means they don't even know what they're talking about. They just know, oh, that's a big one. I want you to break things down. I want to ensure that you start, first of all, by telling yourself, here's what I'm focusing on for the next 2 months, 3 months. Here's what sort of progress I'd expect to see. And we start with that. You do not work in timeframes that are longer than that because it's just too long. It's so easy to forget, to lose our momentum, to lose focus, to fake it. Like tell ourselves, yeah, I've been working on it without realizing that, oh, actually it's been a year and I've only sat down and thought about it twice. Well, this is much, much, much shorter and much more compact. We can make leaps. This is actually also connected to what I do in general and what I recommend in the Impact Coaching Framework, which you can find a free ebook about it in the link in the video description. And I also, I think, have a video about it. And if so, a link for it will be somewhere here on screen. But at the end of the day, we're working in these short chunks. We're not trying to make progress over a year, but make less progress maybe, but every couple of months or 3. And that will make you move so much faster. We are working on compressing the horizon. What can you achieve in the next 8 to 12 weeks? That should be your focus, that should be your goal, and that will drive you forward. Number 2, start defining very measurable little milestones or projects you're going to be doing. Saying, I'm going to understand the product better. Who knows? Like that's so vague that even if you spend the time, you might not realize that you're making progress. So try to find something that you can do and also, okay, I did this. I see the progress. Someone worked with me about product understanding. Just what we ended up doing was saying, okay, every week you're going to take one of the client recordings of a client meeting recordings that you guys have. You're going to listen to it and you're going to write down everything that you don't understand. And we want to see you making progress because essentially, he was listening to it and saying, okay, I don't understand these 10 things and moving on. Those turned into action items about things he's going to ask his product counterpart or read or whatever. And then when we did the exercise again, week after week after week, he saw how the list kept shrinking. He understood 80% of what was going on in any typical client conversation, which means he has made a huge leap in progress. Does he have to understand everything 100%? Probably not. I'm betting not neither product to. But getting to 80% within a month of focused work is what you're aiming at here. And it is very much possible once you break things down like this. So look around and try to find a way for you to do things differently. If we're talking about your communication skills, try to write down small things you can do. I sometimes talk with people about how they can work on ensuring that they don't sound so monotonous when they're speaking in front of people, and learning how to control their sentences so that their sentences feel like a real human being is speaking and it's not something that AI is reading. So I have a little exercise for them about how do we use pauses. See, how do we ensure that their sentences end up with, the tone of voice going up if it's a question, and how they actually control a bit their voice in a way that makes people be interested and not want to shut down their brain when they start speaking. That's just another example. Breaking things down like, oh, communication skills, well, I don't know how that means that I'm making progress. Understanding the product, who knows what that means? Breaking those down to little things tiny little steps that you can take and see progress. That will get you moving forward. It'll ensure you're not gonna burn out and lose momentum as you're working on it. You're gonna see your progress, which is amazing at keeping you honest with yourself about what you're doing. And when we're working in these small increments, when you're not making progress, it's gonna stick out to you immediately, and you're gonna realize that you're not doing something correctly, and you're gonna change course, hopefully. And those things are actually also then useful and transferable skills to everything around you when it comes to coaching your people and when it comes to managing the different initiatives the company is working on. So all in all, a win-win. And number 3, keep track and take notes. I've been saying that this is one of the most important things for personal progress for years now, because I have seen the great difference it has made on me. You cannot see here, but one shelf above is a shelf just like these, but stacked with notes, with notebooks that I've been collecting over a decade, because I write down everything. And I also have a bunch of recordings of past talks that I gave, the first podcast I did. I have hundreds of articles, and I sometimes review them to see the progress I've made when it comes to articulating my thoughts and how things have moved in general as I did that. These videos that I've only been doing for about a year, I'm seeing the progress that I make in some things, and how every time I try to focus on a different thing in a different little angle of how I want to improve there. And just because I have this, it gives me the ability to contrast it and see whether I'm really making progress or not. The things that were very hard at the beginning and aren't now. If you've been here for a while, you know that we moved here, the family, to Rome about 8 months ago, and everyone here is at a different level of Italian, and we're working on it. But I'm trying to keep track of the different things that are happening so people can see, like people here in the house, we can see our progress. So I sometimes record the kids trying to read the homeworks that they're working on, or I write down the little mistakes that we make, because then it's so fun to look at it 2 months later and see, oh yeah, I can't believe we made those mistakes, and it really helps you see those great strides. And when we have that, it's an amazing tool to ensure that things are grounded in real proof and real data. It's so easy to fool ourselves about whether we're making progress or not, feel like we're stuck or feel like we've made huge leaps, and both of those might not be real. When we keep track of things, when we take notes, when we record the updates that you give to the company, if you have to talk in front of the all hands once a month and you want to ensure that you're doing that better, record yourself. And then you'll be able to quickly see whether you're actually making progress or not, especially once you accumulate it and you have more than just 2 data points, but you have something that you've collected over the past 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And that's magical. It does mean that you need to spend a bit more energy taking those notes, but then once you have them, and now with AI, it's just so easy to actually find the differences, analyze what has been happening, see the progress you've made. And I think that this is golden. This is you collecting the data in order to ensure that you can train an LLM on how you talk, on the progress that you've made. When we just ask the random question, I see people trying to do some self-coaching with LLMs, and when you just say, hey, I have this problem, what do you say? It's just generic. It has no understanding of your real situation. But at least when you're collecting the data, you can start having something more meaningful. With AI or without it, either way, it's going to be better once you have those data points. You want to ground things in reality. Have those observations that can then help you ensure that you move forward much faster. All right, those 3 tools that I've been using with my clients for years can really ensure that you accelerate your rate of learning, that you kickstart your internal clock in a way that makes you learn so much faster. Don't waste another year saying next year is going to be better. No, take a hold of your career and start moving faster. And if you want to move real fast, my email's in the video description. Reach out to me and let's have a quick call. That's it. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. It really helps. If you have any questions or comments, just comment or send me an email. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. And I'll see you here in the next video. Ciao.